say, Kabasi, so familiar, so many times we've seen it.
Barzell stops, feeds it, score! It's Horvat in overtime.
Hello and welcome to the Isle Ship. It's been a minute. This is the pre-draft special. Right now it is Thursday, June 26th, the day before the Islanders select hopefully Matthew Schaefer with that first overall pick, but we will get into that in just a few minutes. I have Mike, Brandon, and Eric here, and we're going to be going into a mock draft to start this pod out. Mike, if you would do the honors.
Yes. So I just thought bringing it back, the Islanders, we haven't done a pod in a while. The Islanders hired Matthew Darche and relieved Lou Lamoriello of his duties. And we'll get into more of that, but we want to get through this show as best as possible so that everyone can enjoy the draft tomorrow. And we did a mock draft. So what it was is I had John, Eric, and Brandon, and Islesden, Jack, send me their top 10 predictions for who gets taken at each spot with no trades or no, anything on the side. And I took basically a law of averages, as John said, or a point-based system to see which player each team would take. So we're going to find out now. The very first pick in the draft, probably not much of a surprise. The New York Islanders are selecting Matthew Schaefer. He had 50 points. All five of us had him going first. And he's labeled as a franchise-changing defenseman who projects to wear a letter. Skating and puck skills are elite. Schaefer will eat big minutes, and his personality will endear himself to the fans, where ownership is hoping to better connect with the community.
I did get into it a little today with Jim and Phil. Joking that Darche not being able to accomplish a trade in timely manner just takes Hagens first overall. But
that would be really, really good for the memes. I think that might be the most Islanders thing to ever happen if that did happen. But it seems like it seems like there's as much of a consensus now as there has been all year in regards to this pick. I know, up until the last month, it was kind of touch and go between him and Misa, but it really seems like he's become the front runner, and this kind of at this point should be a no-brainer.
Yeah. Who was number 2, Mike?
Okay, yeah. So like I said, if you guys have any comments, I think, we don't really have to say much with Matthew Schaefer. He's consensus, like John said a month ago, but, he stayed the whole...
the one other thing I'll say is, I really hope that, other than Jesus Christ, please let them take him, is I'm fully on board with him not being in the NHL this season.
Of course.
Defensemen take a while to actually develop. I'm okay with him starting. I'm okay with him not starting. Whatever they think is best, I'll trust the process.
That plus he's he's slight. He's tall, but he's slight. He's coming off that collarbone injury. Yeah. Let him play against lighter competition for another year before he's in the NHL. He's barely an 18-year-old playing against men. I'd prefer to give him another year of development. Anyway, that's it.
Do you think he goes back to the Otters, though, or do you think he gets to try at the NCAA?
NCAA.
I think NCAA.
I think that definitely. I think he would still go the Otters route.
There's nothing to prove there.
Yeah, he ain't got nothing to prove at this point.
College,
is there a lot to prove in the NCAA though? Do you guys really think that the quality of player is better at the NCAA than the OHL?
Absolutely.
There's actually adult-sized people in the NCAA. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I will say that,
what was that?
To give credit to the John is lagging a little bit. He said yes because the NCAA has men in there basically. So it's an older league. That being said, it's not to say that playing for the Otters wouldn't be a ton of skill and sometimes more defense. The NCAA doesn't,
it's
prioritize
college
defense usually too well, but
yeah,
they're older usually though. Just saying.
I was gonna say the NCAA, they're a little older, but they're like college kids. They're guys that are 21 years old at most.
But the problem is Schaefer was playing against 16, 17-year-olds. That's what I'm saying. He is 17, don't get me wrong, but that's my point is that sometimes there's a lot of younger players in the league. All right, so let's move on.
There are 19-year-olds in the OHL.
Hagens is nearly almost one full year older than Schaefer. How insane is that?
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
More on
interesting.
him later, by the way.
A quick Google says the oldest player in NCAA hockey last year, referring to the 23-24 season, was likely Craig Anderson, who was 42 years old and played for the Boston University Terriers, according to a sports website. He would have been one of the oldest, if not the oldest, players in NCAA hockey at that time.
He got held back a year. All right. The Sharks are on the board for the second pick, and this was really, really close. But with all our lists combined, with the help of Jack, the pick ended up being Michael Misa with 43 points. He moved from left wing back to center.
Did he just happen to go to Swiss and he was like, oh, he's a pretty good hockey player too?
John, you're frozen.
Oh, John was frozen. He didn't.
John's frozen.
Yeah, I know.
Get a better router, dude.
No, stop.
Just move.
That was so funny.
Just
John
move
came out of
past it,
nowhere.
it's okay.
John came out of nowhere. I was like, sorry. All right.
Okay,
He
so
moved
we're already off my prediction.
Yeah, so Michael Misa goes second. That was also not my prediction. He moved from left wing back to center, put up numbers you don't see often, 62 goals, 134 points, comparing to guys like Crosby, Kane, and McDavid during their draft eligible seasons. Very exciting player who I think might actually end up playing wing in the NHL, but we'll see.
I think so too.
Yeah, he's probably going to make the NHL right away. Depending on. But no, I absolutely. After first and second overall, I think things get a little bit gray afterwards. But Misa,
it turns into kind of a crapshoot.
Very, very, very good skater. He could get a little bit. He can get a little bit stronger, and he could be a little bit more careful with the puck. You know, I worry as to whether or not it's going to translate properly to the NHL for the long term. But no, right off the bat, he should be whoever drafts him. Boom, second line center, and don't even look back.
All right, so we're moving on to the Blackhawks now, and at 42 points, Anton Frondell, a mediocre U18 tournament notwithstanding, he put up historic numbers playing against men in the Allsvenskan, if that's how you pronounce it, Swedish second league. His 25 points are second only to William Nylander and ahead of Pasternak for U18 players in the league's history. I had him going second, and I think Eric did as well.
I did.
I had him third.
But he went third.
See, my thing is, was it really that competitive, though? The league that he was playing in, though? Is that going to also translate to the NHL properly?
I think that's why I think
that's where it gets messy.
Yeah, most people have him going between 3 and 6. I don't think he's a guarantee to be that high. I just thought out of every player in this draft, he's the most NHL ready. So that's why I thought some team who needs help right now, Blackhawks, Sharks, might be interested in just taking him. Because I like Misa a lot. I like some of these other guys on the list, but I don't think their world's better than Frondell. I think they're all around the same tier, to be honest. But whatever. All right, here nor there. So next on the board, we have the Utah Mammoth. Like I said, this is if picks are not traded and there's no funny business. They are taking, with 25 points, a lot of different people had him in different spots, Caleb Desnoyers, which I think is actually a strong pick. He's moved up the boards lately. Heavy dose of will and skill. Bottoms out as a second-line center who wins draws, has the ability to match up and also produce high-level offense. Very good skater.
Reminds me a lot about Pajot. That's why I had him a little bit higher than normal. You know, for this draft class, that's pretty good, though.
Yeah, I think he might even end up being better.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it is a pretty good comparison.
I definitely think his ceiling is going to be higher than Pajot.
Yeah, it's what the vibe is. That's why.
It also depends on how he's used, though. You know what I mean? If you're Connor Bedard, look at how the Blackhawks are using Bedard. He's playing with crap. He's playing with crap. He ain't got no Draisaitl behind him like McDavid does. I mean, I'm not saying Bedard's McDavid, but if you ain't using this guy properly, that's where it gets murky with the ceiling. But I'm assuming he will be used properly for the most part. That's why I had him fourth.
Eric also reminded me, I don't know if I said it in the beginning, I might have forgot to say it, but these are the Sportsnet blurbs. I think I said it, but I'll give credit to Sam Constantino on these. These are his blurbs from it.
So, you know what's funny? I read that his latest mock a couple times today. I had 2 depositions, and I read his mocks twice during those, and so I was like, "Oh, that sounds fair." So yeah, just a heads up.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had to like edit them a little bit because he did them based on team need on the
Yeah.
blurbs I'm using, and we're not doing that. So I was like, "Ooh, if I read that wrong, it's gonna sound weird." But whatever. No,
Yeah.
these are the Sportsnet blurbs. I thought I said that in the beginning, but yeah, that's what I just to add just before we continue with them. But all right, moving on. The Predators at number 5 we had with 21 points taking Porter Martone, huge power forward, one of the best pure shooters in the class. I don't know if you guys have any comments on him. I mean, I think that's a little early, but I mean,
Yeah,
I had him at 4.
I had Merca 5th overall from that because if you're the Predators, you need to buff up your right side on your
Yes,
defense.
they have a very weak right. They have a very empty right side of their defense. Absolutely.
And with Yossi being out for a while, starting next season, you have to
Yeah,
fill that pipe.
they're gonna.
You have to.
It's a need.
Honestly, that's why I think my guess is that we get that the Islanders get that pick. I think the Predators have the need for Dobson the most, and he's like,
And they don't have income tax, so they don't have to give him 8 figures.
yeah.
I was gonna. The problem though, and we'll save
Okay.
this for after this. We'll save this for after this because Dobson's the next topic.
Yeah.
I was gonna say this is gonna be maybe a controversial question. Does Barry Trotz like Dobson or Romanov?
No,
think he likes
I mean
Dobson.
it's Trotz the GM we're talking about, not the coach. So, nah, he'll probably go with Dobson here. You have to replace.
I mean,
Yossi.
Dobson's the better player. That is not arguable. But I think the way Barry Trotz plays hockey, I think he appreciates Romanov more, and he's frustrated with Dobson.
We're only on the 5th overall pick right now, John.
Yeah, we'll
get
keep
to Dobson
moving.
after this.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sure me and Brandon have a lot to say on that. So we'll see how that goes. All right, number 6, we have the Flyers taking the lovely, the beautiful, the one and only James Hagens. Now, 2 players were tied with 19 points here. I put the player 6th that didn't fall down the draft on most of the lists, Eric. So
he was not on my list.
I know Eric didn't have him on his list. I was gonna say it is really funny when I mean, to be fair, Eric, me and you had a player that didn't make the top 10 that was on both of our lists. So you'll hear about it at the end. Obviously, you know who I'm talking about. But James Hagens, 19 plus points in our rating here. Top 5 player, Sam Constantino has him as, who put up a point per game as a freshman. Gifted offensively as anyone in this group and has proven it internationally when stakes are the highest.
This is the one pick, the Flyers pick is the one that worries me because I don't know that if they want him, if Darsh is going to be able to trade for that pick. It's in
Division rival, you'll have to pay more.
Exactly. They would have us over a barrel. So, my hope is that they've fallen in love with somebody else or that, and you know what? I would just like to point out one of the first things I said when we got the first overall pick was, and Hagen started talking about coming to, like, wanting to play for Long Island. I was like, I honestly think that that's going to play into it. And they were like, and the reactions on Twitter were, no. He wants to be the first pick. He's trying to talk them into the first pick. Absolutely not. He's trying to get to Long Island, I think. And I actually think it's working. He's talked about it enough that, teams have got to wonder, am I going to be able to use this asset? Or am I going to have to trade it or risk not signing?
That's why I have Hagens falling a little bit lower. I have Roger McQueen as that pick for the Flyers because of that.
If I hadn't had McQueen going to the Predators, I would have had him going to the Flyers. Yes.
The problem is that, hey, a little Catito, there we go. The thing is though, like when it comes to players being drafted, your interviews with these teams also impact where you get drafted, unless you're like a bona fide first overall projected pick.
Yeah.
We've I mean, I don't want to compare this guy to, Shedeur Sanders, but, you got to be very careful of what you say in the media publicly. You have to. And Islanders this, Islanders that. Yes, it's flattering as a fan to hear that, but that's going to impact your stock quite a bit where you're selected. Teams are going to get weary of you.
But here's the thing. He's talking about it enough, and I think he has to know he's not going first overall. And he's continued to talk about it enough to make me think like he's either trying to put it out there that that's where he wants to go and drive down the stock so that by any means necessary he can get drafted by the Islanders, maybe make it even cheaper for them to get him if he does fall down draft boards.
I also think, being a right-handed shot for Roger McQueen, I think that makes you a little bit more attractive than a lefty. We could debate that as well. I know he was hurt quite a bit with the Wheat Kings, but he was already projected to be over a point per game player even then, but prior to the injury. So,
do you want me to get to the next pick, Brandon? Because I think you'll know who it is.
Just one more thing. I don't actually think the Flyers are interested in Hagens because he's not really their mold. He's not. Yeah, no, he's not. What
they just traded for Zegras. He might be.
That's true.
They might be trying to be
anti-Flyer
right now.
Do we really need two of these guys?
Well, three, right? Drysdale's tiny too. All right, so the next pick is the Bruins, and like Brandon was talking about, we had them taking Roger McQueen, 19 points as well. Just like James Hagens. Thank you, Brandon. He also wants his this was the quote. All the boxes are checked if they think the doctors, are correct. And his back issues in the past. He's a big player, lots of size, good skill. I think he's 6'4", very fast for his size. I mean, good player.
He fits the mold of a Boston Bruin.
I think so. It's funny how that worked out.
Yeah.
So next we can get kind of speed up towards the end of this list because there's a lot less to say. We have the Kraken at 8 with Brady Martin, 18 points, one of the highest risers in the draft class. Knocked it out at the combine. Plays hard and heavy, shoots a ton. He's basically, in my opinion, outside of Martone, probably the hardest player in this draft to play against. So I can see him going high. I mean, we obviously weren't that high on him. We have him at 8, but I've seen drafts where he goes as high as 4. So I mean.
He's another guy who I expect either Boston, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Like the three guys that I expect Boston, Philadelphia, or Nashville to take are Martone, Martin, or McQueen.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think Seattle's locked into Mertka.
And then, another big player, I think I'm correct on this. We have the Sabres at 9 taking Jake O'Brien with 17-plus points. He possesses next level hockey IQ, good vision.
I actually am going at 8th overall, Jake O'Brien.
Yeah, so just right before. So, yeah.
Yeah. But then Martone, number 9.
Yeah, no, so we had Martone a lot higher combined, it makes sense. I mean, he was supposedly going as high as 3 to the Blackhawks. But all right, at 10, we have the Anaheim Ducks finally taking Martika. Be fascinated to see what he will become with more coaching, training, and guidance. He'll need to fill out as a defenseman. I like him. He would be the second defenseman to go in the draft. And honestly, I think the Ducks need defense, so I think it would make sense.
I mean, they need a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they need everything. To be fair,
you got Quenville, and now you have Jay Woodcroft as your assistant, so that's good. You added Chris Kreider to your roster, although you got rid of Zegras to make that happen. Really,
their roster confuses the hell out of me.
I just don't trust their goaltending.
Their roster confuses the hell out of me because it feels like there is zero consistency. Like, I don't know what their actual plan is. Are they trying to get younger? Are they trying to get a heavy veteran presence?
They want to mix it up. They want to finally make the playoffs.
Yeah, but they don't have a lineup that's going to make the playoffs. They even come close right now.
Well, tell that to them. They're tired of it. They're tired of, You don't hire Quinville just to miss the playoffs. You hire him because
they're
you want
trying
to be
make the playoffs.
competitive. I don't think they will, but that's their objective here. And
You're getting
you add
competitive by trading away Trevor Zegras?
well, they don't want to pay him $7 to $8 million.
But that's what I mean. It's not the decisions are. They're trying to do two different things.
And also, I don't think Zegras was happy there either, though.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. But I don't think anybody would be happy there.
You got to make the
right now.
most of a bad situation. Now,
Is it possible that Hagens falls all the way to Detroit or Columbus?
No.
Something
He could.
very
He could.
Eric had it in his
to happen. I think
Eric's mock draft had it though. I mean, so maybe. I can't believe you're the only
out of the top 10. I don't know if he makes it past Pittsburgh.
Yeah, no, I don't even think he makes it past 5 or 6, to be honest. But
if he makes it out of the top 10 and the Islanders,
I think you're going to be surprised.
If he makes it out of the top 10 and the Islanders don't trade for him, there are going to be some serious questions.
Yeah. John, if he falls to 7 and the Islanders don't trade for him, people are going to be furious.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
But forget the fact that what is the 7th overall pick going to cost?
It's Boston. There's probably a great trade there for Noah Dobson. I know. Wink.
Yeah, if you're doing that, I mean, then we have a certain other Long Island boy. We could do a 2-for-1 special. That would be pretty nice.
I don't even think we would get that. And see, the problem with Dobson that's come out lately, and I know we'll get to this next, is that he's only going to re-sign with certain teams. And those teams have to agree to re-sign him as well. So that really limits who you can trade with.
Dobson's fiance, soon-to-be wife, is from Boston, I think.
I don't know if he wants to play there, though.
You don't think if somebody offers him, like, $11 million, he would sign there, no matter who it is?
I think he's being weird.
That's a different discussion for another day.
Yes.
But
I don't think
there's very few teams that can actually do that, though.
Does Boston have anything that we want?
Charlie McAvoy.
I don't think that.
I would love that trade. I don't know what Dobson's value looks like right now with all the problems I'm hearing. But we'll get to that next. I just wanted to finish this.
McAvoy wants out.
Supposedly, but I mean, we don't know for sure. But
if he does, it seems like a perfect fit there.
I want to get into your discussion, but I just want to finish the mock draft by saying there were 2 names of players that didn't make our top 10. Me and Eric had Justin Carbonneau going 10th. He could go even higher than that. Very, very skilled winger who can score, super speedy, very talented. I'm shocked he's not in the top 10, but I guess it's just better players available. And then Den had Victor Eklund going 10th, which I thought was interesting. Another player that should be either right outside the top 10 or in the top 10. So, yeah, that was it. I can end it now. Thank you. So, yeah, that was our draft. I guess if anyone's listening, they can let us know what they thought or what their top 10 is. We're going to move into Noah Dobson now.
I think we should just start with predictions. Just straight up stay or go.
You want to go first?
Wait. Let's all give the same answer on 3, 2, 1.
He's
gone.
Go.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. It is what it is. And you know what? It's partially the Islanders' fault for letting this happen as well. It's not Darce's fault because he just got here, obviously.
Yeah, it does feel like it has snowballed a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the problem is not counting Bodie Wild, obviously. The Islanders never drafted or developed any other right-handed defenseman internally at all. Dobson and his agent know that. And they're saying, hey, I'm all you got, buddy. Now, if I'm Darsh, I call your frickin' bluff and ship you to wherever and get some capital in the process.
You can't ship him to wherever, though, because the where is going to – the return is going to
It depends on how the other team feels about him and what they can offer Dobson long-term, obviously, if that's appealing to him. Obviously, he's not going to go to a team like Buffalo, obviously, where that team has virtually no sensible organizational direction whatsoever.
to be fair, I don't think that's the Islanders' problem. If Buffalo is stupid enough to trade for him and they think they can sign him, I don't care if they can't. I'm taking that trade.
But they're not making that deal unless he agrees to an extension
Contracts
right
in
off the bat.
place. Yeah, unfortunately, teams
Yes
are very.
and no. If you have a
No,
GM that's dumb enough to think that no, I can do it.
Just
They're not taking that risk. Yeah. And listen, I think Kevin Adams should be fired
You
yesterday.
say that
Not
people have
even
done
he's gonna do
stupider
something like that.
things.
I just think in this situation, like Brandon's talking about, because of the stakes with that sort of move, it's not like a deadline move or paying a small price for a guy's rights. Someone's going to be offering us more than likely, at bare minimum, a couple picks and prospects. And like if we're talking about the lowest offer possible, would probably be a handful of picks and B-tier prospects. Hopefully it's better than that.
No, I think his value is a lot higher depending on the situation of the team that's trading for him.
And that's where I disagree, But once again, listen, Brandon's very knowledgeable. Maybe, maybe you know something I don't.
No,
but
I don't. I'm going with direction of certain teams. Now, you all could. I'll let the three of you decide where you think he's going to get traded, but I'll give you mine on last. And
okay.
It's a team I don't think anybody's talking about, but give your predictions.
The Guangdong Tigers.
You clown.
A team nobody's thinking about. Besides me at all times. And John.
Why not just trade him to the London Silly Nannies while we're at it?
That's what he's being. He's being a London Silly Nanny.
Family Guy, come on.
I know. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember the quotes, but like, is that where they have all the really big chins?
Yes.
Yeah.
Peter Griffin back to the Patriots.
Oh my god.
The London Silly Nannies. Dobson's on the power play one there at least. I can promise you guys that. Listen, I have defended Dobson with Eric's help for like the last month and a half. Me, Eric, Sean, and Dom are like the Islanders Dobson fan club. We were hoping to get new members, but it looks like we might be losing all of them.
I mean, I was on board with it for the past 2 months, but
here's my
that's
thing.
ugly.
He outpriced all of us.
Here's my thing that I mean, I think we're probably going to, unless the return is, massive, or Hagens pans out, or if we use him to get Hagens, or a pick.
I would take that at this point.
This is the question you should be asking yourself: is what are the odds that Noah Dobson ends up in a better situation in terms of point production? And the answer is
high. Dramatically
high. Certainty. It is a mathematical certainty because of how bad the Islanders have been with him.
That's the crux of this whole thing. I think as an Islander fan, you have to realize there is a high likelihood you are going to lose this trade, and you still need to make it because you're not paying someone $11 million to put up 50 points a year, which he would do here.
Yeah, it depends, but it also depends on what the Islanders feel like their direction is next season. Do they actually feel like they're going to be a cup contender? Are they actually going to take a small step back in the process by doing that?
But in my view, even if they're going to be,
if you're trading Dobson, that fulfills that philosophy, is what I'm trying to say.
In my view, even if you're looking to compete next season, you still should be looking at this as an asset that is more valuable for someone else than it is for you. So if you can get what you need out of him, it works better for both sides.
My goal for the Island.
So no one gave a prediction of what team, and we're not going to debate that.
I mean, I can.
Oh, we can do that. Sure.
I mean, I thought Eric was going to go first. I wanted him to take the lead if he had a team in mind.
I think there's going to be a couple of, like I said, I think Nashville's a possibility. I think one of the most interesting ones is the Kraken. I think
familiarity with Lane Lambert.
Exactly. he did play well under Lane Lambert. I mean, he got a lot of power play time and he put up a lot of points. And they have a desperate need for a right-handed shot. And I think if Hagens falls to 8, it's kind of like jumping the line for them rather than taking Murtka. Is that his name?
I say Murtka.
Murtka, like, who's not the sure thing. He's not like a sure thing to hit. Whereas Dobson is a known quantity to Lambert. And so I think that is a stronger possibility than people realize at this point. But like I said, I really do think there's a couple teams that are going to be after him.
That does make sense.
It's interesting to see Montreal get into it. I think that is going to require some wheeling and dealing because they aren't going to get us a pick where we can take Hagens unless something goes catastrophically wrong.
The problem is with Montreal is this:
unless he breaks his back or something.
If you're gonna pay Noah Dobson
falls down the stairs
$9 to $10+ million, if you're Montreal, then Lane Hudson is going to want 11 to 12 on his next contract. And is Dobson going to take the power play 1 minute away from Hudson? Absolutely not. So why am I giving you 8 figures if you're not even giving me the power play quarterback? Like, I mean, sure, yes, you can move away Patrick Laine as a cap dump to make this work, but long term, like you're closing your window substantially by doing this if you're Montreal. Like, unless you don't believe in Reinbacher long term.
Well,
I don't see it.
Well, the other reason I think Montreal is interesting is because, as you said, there's no short or long-term replacement. I mean, the short-term replacement I think is Tony DeAngelo, but there is no long-term replacement for Dobson or any right-handed defenseman in the system. So Montreal makes sense if we can pry Reinbacher away from them. Because they're not going to need all 3 of those guys.
That should be the goal for the Islanders, is seeing if they can get him and one of the firsts in the 2025 draft and just calling it a day.
And you get the first rounder, Michael Hagen, Reinbacher. And if you don't offer me that, I'm not accepting that trade.
Why did I mention Hagen?
I'm gonna break Brandon's heart here because there's no chance of that happening. And I'll tell you why. Because Dobson has too much leverage in this. Somehow, because of his cost and every team that you're going to name situation, he's probably not power play 1. I mean, maybe he is. Maybe they'd run Hudson and Dobson, but then you got to take one of Suzuki, Caulfield. Like I forgot who the other name is on that power play, but like it's very tough to slide him in on certain teams' power plays.
I'm just going to say that most of obviously this is a generalization and I'd love to see statistics that show this, but my guess is playing on other teams' power play 2 is probably comparable to playing on the Islanders' power play 1.
That's pretty funny. So he's gonna put up 40-50 points.
From power play 2 on a team with finishers.
Everyone keeps telling me Utah's not the fit, but it's all I see.
Yeah.
Like look at their right side. It stinks. Like I guess he just doesn't want to go to Utah.
It would be great.
You got Jersey and John Marino. That's not bad.
No, but he's way better than both of those guys in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. I like Jersey. Hasn't Jersey had some health issues, Brent? Am I wrong?
So has Dobson.
Really? I think he's missed 10 games in the last 3 years.
Oh,
if you're looking at need, if you're looking at team need, there is
a lot healthier than Jersey.
Need to look further than St. Louis.
I feel like the biggest issue that Utah has right now is second line center.
That's what it was.
Oh yeah, of course.
The Hagee. That they compared Hagee on the Montreal prospect to as a Kiru type.
Cairo. Yeah.
As a Cairo type, which made me laugh because are we just trading for Noah Dobson for versions of Jordan Cairo?
John, I'll let you get to the St. Louis point, but I just want to say that I don't think there's a chance in heck you get Hagee and Reinbacher. And personally, if I'm Montreal, like we just said, I'd rather keep Reinbacher and just see if he develops well and maybe draft another right defenseman instead of paying a guy $10.5 million. But
you need ELC production.
but Utah makes sense to me. I know they need a 2C, but they don't have, in my opinion.
They should, if anything, they should be going after Marco Rossi right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Maybe that is their number one need. I just think. So. Why do you think Dobson would work on St. Louis, John? Fill me in. Over Parayko, obviously, right?
John, you froze again.
Like that.
Oh,
He's thinking. Hold on.
All right, Mike, you go.
All right. So John came up with St. Louis. So I said, John, how would that go? I see Parayko. I see Parayko on the right side. I'm envisioning Falk playing like 3 minutes a night after this because he stinks. And I don't even know who
Right
is
side
St. Louis.
Oh no. He's never had this problem before. What the heck is going on?
This is the so I will fill in for John until he's back in the living world. Since he's in some other world right now.
I know, I can't. It's Southworth.
The upside.
Oh, there you go. Now we hear you.
we can't see you.
So,
I can hear him though. When I do the editing, I gotta know. I just timestamped it for when I have to edit that. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, but you're still lacking a little.
All right.
Come on, Durmamo.
Yeah. All right. So, so what I was saying is their right side D is very barren. They definitely need somebody to kind of quarterback their power play, and they have Jordan Kyrou, who the Islanders would want. To me, that seems like a pretty even swap. My dark horse, if I was GM, what I would be attempting to do is I would do Dobson and Pajot for McAvoy in the.
Dude, what is going on?
McAvoy in the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. I was able to figure it out.
Second.
Dobson and Pajot for McAvoy and Boston's first round pick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, if that gets you Hagens, I mean, I will say this: Steph's latest article, his last point that he made is that Boston is one of the teams the Islanders have talked to a lot. So I said that last week on X, and I think they're a good trading partner if Hagens is available, or if they can make the trade early and then use what they got for Dobson to get whatever pick they need. Maybe they say, hey, Utah, here's pick number 7 this year and Colorado's first next year and a prospect. Maybe that's appealing then, you know?
Well, first of all,
John just rage quit. He couldn't take it
anymore.
anymore.
They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna trade up for the 4th. They're gonna wait and see if he falls, which I absolutely think he's going to. I think you're gonna be surprised. He's gonna fall.
I think you're gonna be surprised because I think it's.
No, I agree. I think he's falling.
Yeah,
I don't think he is at all. I think it's fun bargaining tactics from him to maybe try to get. I think some of the quotes do show that more than any other prospect I've ever seen, he does want to come here. He knows it's special. We've never had a player with this sort of pedigree as a prospect get a chance to come here and play here his whole career potentially. But
I think he saw what Adam Fox did, and he realized that players can use their leverage if they're good enough.
Maybe, but if I'm a top 5 team, I'm not passing on him. I mean, we had him 6th, but
you're a GM. You're a GM for one of these teams that's in the bottom. So Chicago, not going to take a chance on him. San Jose, not going to take a chance on him. He's definitely not in the top 3. So you're Seattle, or not Seattle, Jesus. You're Utah, okay? Is he really what you're looking for? I mean, you're closer to the verge, I think. Nashville, Philadelphia, Boston, same thing. These guys all want to be contenders and they're feeling pressure to be contenders. And I don't think they want somebody who's going to be like, who's been saying for the last month and a half, I want to play on Long Island.
Did you hear his other quote, though?
Something that's more of an impact.
You want me to break your heart?
Oh, what, the Matt Martin thing?
No. No.
Oh.
Do you want me to break Eric's heart? In 3, 2, 1. James Hagens had a quote, and he came out and said when he talked about other teams that if the Islanders don't take him, he's going to embrace wherever he goes and make it his new home.
Of course, because he's got to say that.
Yeah, but
he's
don't say
also
that.
said, "I wanna play on
That's
Long Island."
PR. That's PR speak. You have to say that.
So is the
You
Matt
think
Martin
that
thing.
outweighs the number of times he's said over the last month that he wants to play on Long Island, and it's his dream to play on Long Island, and that every other article is talking about him playing on Long Island.
I think part of what makes it so special is not only that we had the first overall pick after having no shot at getting him, but it's the fact that nobody comes from Long Island and is an Islanders fan. Like, it's so rare that it's making headlines. Like, that's the thing. Like, I think there's definitely
if I was a GM and
I'm
I was
mixed.
hearing that over and over and over and over again, I would very much hesitate to take somebody like that.
I think I am allowed to say this, by the way.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want me to go real quick? Just it'll be quick, and then you can go.
Yeah, go.
I think I'm allowed to say this on the pod, but as far as him and his agent know, Eric, the team has not expressed to him that they're going to take him or try to take him.
What?
Which might be a good thing. Might be a good thing.
The Islanders?
Yes.
No shit.
I don't think they can.
Well,
They're not
I
gonna
mean,
take him.
no, I'm talking about later. Like, they haven't expressed that they're going to try to trade and take. I think they're allowed.
Yes,
to,
that would be considered tampering. I don't think they're allowed to do that.
Well, you're telling me that doesn't
And even
happen?
if they could, they shouldn't. Even if they could, they shouldn't, because then that gives
Mike, I'm not saying that does or doesn't happen. I'm saying there is no way in hell a player is going to say that happened, because that would cause their team to get in trouble.
I got you. I don't even know if I was allowed to say that, but whatever, I said it.
Also,
so it's on the podcast.
I don't think you maintain a little bit of plausible deniability when talking to other teams. You know, so that it avoids the Islanders having to pay an exorbitant price to try and get back in, just because everybody thinks they know they're going after.
Counter argument, though, is what we were talking about before. You tell a team, I want to be an Islander, now you fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if he's doing that, I mean,
which looks even better, because now he's saying that independent of the team saying, "Oh, we're going to try and trade back in to get you." He's just saying that because he clearly really, really wants it.
I would love Darce to drop. Oh, sorry. I keep getting.
No, go ahead. You're fine.
It's so funny because I have all these hilarious things of like. They send Darsh down one of those like wires from the top of the building, and he's on a microphone like Mr. Kennedy or something when he gets to the bottom, and he announces that they're gonna take Hagens second. They're gonna trade up for him or something, and the crowd goes absolutely nuts. I mean, that would be cool, but that's not gonna happen. Especially the part where he comes down from a wire. I can't see that happening, but all right. John,
have we floated a possibility that this kid and his agent are just savvy enough to read the tea leaves and realize that since you have a new GM who is looking to make a splash, we can try to take advantage of this and elevate our draft stock by talking about how much we want to go there?
Maybe. I mean, that's a huge
how would that elevate his stock?
Yeah.
That would elevate his stock by causing them to trade for him.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like a team would get more value out of the Islanders trading for that pick. Is that what you're talking about?
No, what I'm saying is he would go sooner than he normally would, because he's trying to bait the Islanders into trading for him.
My staunch.
What is this? Evil Hagens?
My staunch prediction.
No, I'm not saying evil. It's smart. If you're a player who's falling, who thinks they might be a tweener, and you create this narrative where a team has to trade for you, you're gonna go a lot higher than you were expected to at that point.
Yeah, this is evil Hagens lore.
I don't.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
My staunch prediction for tomorrow is that somebody else is going to. You're not going to see the Islanders trade up to get him. You are going to see another team pick him. And that is when
And
Darsh
pulling Eli Manning.
and that is when Darsh will move in and be like, okay, what do you need for him? Because it requires I think it will require a great deal of restraint and a lot of like calling the bluff kind of on Darsh's part. But go ahead, take him and see if I'll trade for him. Take him. Do you really, really want him? Take him and see if I'll trade for him. And then
I think that would be a little. To me, that would be a little silly, just because I feel like if a team wants him, it would cost more to trade for him after they've already selected him than looking at a team going, "You don't want him, right? You're gonna give us that pick."
This sounds more like almost like a shot of love with like Tila Tequila or something at this point. It's like a whole drama love situation.
No,
do you want him? Do you want him, or do you want me to take him?
No, I think.
No, but
I think he's gonna.
if they know that if they're talking to a team and they know that team doesn't really value anyone at that spot, then they're going to get a much better offer than if, let's say, Nashville drafts Hagens and Barry Trotz actually wants Hagens. And you look at Barry Trotz after and you go, okay, well, what do you want for him?
I get it. I just feel like
for a lot more.
I would.
I would.
But why wouldn't you just skip all the nonsense and let him put the jersey on? Like, wouldn't that be more fun?
He can still put the jersey on. They let him change jerseys.
They tackle him mid-steps.
Focused on GMs are not focused on fun.
Also, and this is, I don't know how much.
I think it would happen during the draft.
What? That would monopolize the time. Like that, that would be a bigger deal. I think trading for him afterwards, you get like I've said in our chat, like you get to see his reaction. You get to see how happy he would be finding out that.
Do you think anybody cares about that?
He didn't want to go to. What'd you say?
Do you think anybody cares about it though?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I care about him putting the jersey on more than anything else.
No.
I would
the fans care about that. Who outside of the fans cares about that?
He would absolutely care about that. If
ownership, no, they would not. Not a chance.
Apparently, ownership's been pushing to get this second pick, which is the right thing to do. I mean, this is a big marketing thing. Huge marketing thing.
I'm
on their side. Pay more to get him. Just do it. Pay a third or a fourth.
The thing you could do is let somebody else take him, and then flip it and change the jersey. It makes it look. Think of the optics. The optics of
is this
optics don't exist.
Eric, is this a movie?
Yes.
Is there a script?
No.
Like he takes the other team's jersey.
You have to.
You're treating this like it's like the NFL draft movie.
It is absolutely.
Optics don't exist. No, it's all a leverage game. Fan optics is not a real thing.
We understand from your setup that you don't care about optics. But the point is, they do.
No, I'm saying GMs don't care about optics. GMs care about what is the best move I can make.
I think GMs care about
why
optics.
wouldn't they just make the move beforehand? Why would they wait and make it a movie? That's so strange.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No, it'd be hilarious though. Like he starting to put on the jersey, and Gary Bettman walks up to the podium. Hold on.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Don't put the jersey on.
Shut up for a second.
Eric is expecting him to pull like a fuck.
Just shut up for a second.
Go ahead.
Imagine the optics. Imagine the turnaround from watching John Tavares walk away from Long Island to either Matthew Darsh or Matt Martin or somebody else walking up to James Hagens.
This is a fan-driven story. It's not real.
Shut up. And just let me tell the fucking story, would you? Shut up. Walks up to Hagens and says, actually, we just traded for you. You're an Islander. You get Hagens' reaction. You get the visual of somebody.
I actually think it's cool.
Exactly.
No, it's a really nice story.
And for as much as you don't think optics matter, they absolutely fucking matter. And you're out of your mind if you think they don't.
No, I agree with you, but I just
Eric,
think this has
I want to
never
hire you to be the director.
Yeah.
I don't think.
You want to know what I want? You want to know what I want now? I want James Hagens to wear an Islanders jersey under his suit,
Underneath.
so that when he puts the jersey for the other team on, he can take it off, rip the fucking white shirt, and reveal the Islanders jersey underneath.
Well,
It was a
confetti
mood
starts
the
coming
whole
down.
time.
Well, if Hagens is
And then the credits
drafted
roll.
outside of if Hagens is getting drafted outside the top 10, you shouldn't be giving up Dobson to get that type of pick.
No, of course
Yeah,
not.
of course.
But which is why. So
that's the whole part of not aggressively trading for the pick rather than
sure, but that
where he falls to.
But the thing is, Dobson's probably going to get traded somehow in this process as well.
If
you're
Matthew Dart, what I guarantee you're doing is you're calling every single GM
Team.
as they're starting to trade, and they're going, "You going to take him?" And they say yes or no. And if they say yes, you go, "All right, what do you want for him?"
You're absolutely not doing that. You're absolutely not doing that.
Yeah, because then you lose leverage in that regard.
That gives away the game.
It gives away the game.
No, but they
do that.
Yeah.
So
everybody knows.
See, I'm very mixed on this opinion because they already know that. No, I'm gonna actually side with John on this one because every GM talks to each other in the top 5 or 10 before the draft happens. They all talk about who they're looking to take.
And they're like, "All right, who are you planning on taking?" They all
I might
have
want that guy.
already.
Do you want to trade? Do you want to do this so you can let me take him if you're the pick after?
They probably have
he's not
4 different
Eric,
deals
he's not
in place.
calling San Jose. He's not calling San unless it's for Dobson. I
guarantee you there is not a GM in the top 10 who's like, shit, I really want James Hagens simply because of the entire not so whispery campaign of him talking about playing on Long Island.
But they would have known anyway.
There are for sure people who want him.
I think there's going to be a huge swerve here with this.
The last thing I'm going to say on the show.
Wait, what'd you say?
Is that my fan fiction just now with the whole Dobson
movie? James Hagens, the movie
is way better. Is way better than Phil's stupid fucking imaginary blog articles with fake quotes from everybody. All right, my fan fiction better than his fan fiction. I'm done.
It was a movie. Way better, but that's just it. It's a really, really good story. I love the story.
And the Islanders get the girl.
They're gonna find a picture. They're gonna find a picture of James Hagens sleeping in his John Tavares jersey.
Oh, there you go.
So here's the thing.
And then he throws it on the ground and stomps on it. It's my time. This is a movie.
Okay.
So here's the thing. So here's the thing with Dobson, because this is basically what the topic was primarily on. And let me ask you a question. Do you feel like these leaks are intentional?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, honestly, I do.
Okay. So if these leaks are intentional, why do you think that there is another team that we are unaware of who could be pursuing Dobson, and the Islanders are trying to raise the price for him?
That's a fair assessment. Who do you think it is?
So here's the next question. Who has been allegedly the past 5 weeks been trying to trade with the Islanders to get their first overall pick?
I don't know.
Who's been trying to get Matthew Schaefer away from us?
Now it's a crime drama. It's ridiculous.
And I didn't really know there was somebody who was trying to get Matthew Schaefer away from.
The guy who it's the Sharks.
Okay.
The Sharks.
Oh, that makes sense.
So the Sharks have been speculated upon the past 5 weeks to take the Matthew Schaefer pick away from us. Here's the thing. The Sharks, if you look on Puckpedia, they have $44 million in cap space, because their cap hit is 44. The cap floor is 88. So they have a fuck ton of money to spend right now, especially since you just bought out Vlasic. So you already have Eklund and Smith and Celebrini in your forward group. You do not need to draft another center or forward. You do not. You already have Sam Dickinson, who is NHL ready next year. You have the picks. You have the money to do this. You are going to want to make a lot of noise in this draft some way or some form. You have the cap space and draft capital to pull this off. And that's why I believe that Dobson will get traded and sign with San Jose.
That'd be crazy. Now that would be.
Yeah,
But what would they trade him for?
They would give you the second overall pick to make
That's
that
it.
happen.
That's it. Yep.
And you take Hagens with
they're not.
No, you would not. No, you would not. And here's the swerve. Here's the swerve.
Oh, no.
Here's the
So
swerve.
the Islanders keep. So the Islanders keep the first overall pick,
and they'll get the second overall pick, and they won't take Hagens, and they will take Michael Misa instead.
But what you're saying is no. So the Islanders get the first and second pick in this situation.
And if you're the Sharks, and if
I
you're the
let
Sharks,
Brandon go first, would mine have seemed as out of?
No. But here's from the Sharks' perspective why this makes sense.
Is this the sequel to Eric's movie? That's crazy.
No. Here's the thing. We can discuss whether or not Hagens will pitch his way to the Islanders down the road. Look at the Sharks. On their right side, they literally are debating on whether or not Timothy Liljegren is going to be their top righty. You cannot go to next season with that. You have to make a
okay,
splash.
but why would the Sharks trade Dobson for the second pick? Dobson's not nearly as valuable.
You don't need any forwards. You already have Eklund and Smith and Celebrini.
But they could trade so much. But they could make a package that is worth so much less and trade for Dobson.
No, absolutely not. No, your need, if you're the Sharks, your need these past 2+ years until you got Dickinson has still been defense. It's still been defense.
Okay, but Brandon,
Dobson is not a defensive defenseman.
Can you just for a second?
But Dickinson is,
Brandon,
and he's a perfect partner for Dobson.
Say what the trade is going to be again.
It's just Dobson for the second
overall pick.
I like that a lot, but
that doesn't make sense.
Brandon, why wouldn't it have happened already?
Because they're waiting. The Sharks are waiting to see if they can still get the first overall pick. Despite what Darch is saying, the Sharks are not giving up on this.
Just don't.
No, they're not.
Look
at the reports that's been going on the past 5 weeks. The Sharks are still, despite what Darch literally said yesterday, the Sharks still want to get Matthew Schaefer.
No, I agree with you that they're trying to trade for the first overall pick. But I don't
and if you're
think
here's the pitch.
The pivot here is not Noah Dobson.
We need to marry me. Like it's not happening.
Here's the pitch that you make to Dobson if you're the Sharks. We want you to lead this youth of teammates right here. And we believe that you could be the guy to lead this defense for us. We'll give you $10.5 million per year to make this happen. We want you to mentor.
What if Noah Dobson says San Jose sucks? I want 12.
That's the problem. Yeah.
No, let's listen. So the pitch that you make to Dobson, I want you to lead this group of young defensemen. I want you to mentor Dickinson and elevate him to be your top pairing partner. I want to make you assistant captain at bare minimum. That's the pitch that you make if you're Mike Greer and the Sharks. Because that is the exact move that they need. Because here's the thing, and they've been quoted on this: the Sharks do not want to give 7 to 8 years to any UFAs. Dobson's an RFA, and he's 25 years old, and he's right. Listen, let's not act like he's an oldster by any stretch of the imagination for the Sharks. He's actually younger for the Sharks than Erik Karlsson was when he got traded to the Sharks. So you have a window of 5 to 6 years of prime Dobson, along with the youngsters of Eklund and Smith and Celebrini at bare minimum, who are going to get better year after year after year. And Dobson can feed off of that and teach them of the long regular season grind. And that's the next step that the Sharks need to take, because fans are pissed. They're tired of this. Hey, like we traded for Zetterlund from Timo Meier, but now we're trading him away. So much inconsistency. If you want to take this next step and be a bubble team at bare minimum, this is the move that the Sharks need to make.
All right, are you done?
Wait till they see Dobson play.
Sure.
Okay.
And listen, he has his warts. So did Erik Karlsson, to be fair, and so did Burns, to be fair. But Dobson's younger than both of those guys when they were at their prime. And that's why you have a window when you sign a guy like Dobson to that type of contract if you're the Sharks. Plus, you have a fuck ton of cap space to work with. And that's including the weird Tyler Toffoli deal that they have as well. He's got like 3 more years, $6 million. It's insane.
So let me get this straight. If I am the GM of the San Jose Sharks,
Mike Greer,
instead of just drafting a defenseman or
which they can't because we have Schaefer.
No, they can draft a defenseman. They could just draft the second best defenseman in the draft.
Yeah, but
instead of doing that,
but he won't be NHL ready for the next 2-3 years.
Okay, Brandon, you got to speak. Now I'm giving you a counter. If I'm the GM of the Sharks, I'm trading the second overall pick and paying $12 million to someone who scored 39 points last year. I could have anyone in the league that I want. It's the second overall pick. It's incredibly valuable. I'm going after somebody that has not signed yet, who's looking for about $12 million, who again had 39 points last year. That doesn't really make a ton of sense. If I am San Jose, I'm drafting Misa, and if I really want to go this route and trade it and get a defenseman out of it, I can say, okay, we have the second best player in the entire draft. Who do we trade him for? And then you can go and say, okay, you have so many like good defensemen that you can pick from in your wheelhouse. It doesn't really make a ton of sense to me at all.
Yeah, I
but
feel
why
like
would it make sense? Do the Islanders have a Macklin Celebrini on their team?
Yeah.
Do the Islanders have a Macklin Celebrini on their team? No, but they have a Matt Barzal.
Who was hurt for 50 games. Why do you think Dobson had only 39 points?
Stop.
Like, that doesn't matter?
Wild.
That doesn't matter?
If
Matt
Barzal was healthy all season, they would go from 39 to 50. He's not scoring 90 points.
No, he wouldn't get 90. He wouldn't get 90, but he would get between 55 to 60 if Matt Barzal was at least healthy.
Okay, and you're spending $12 million for a 60-point player?
Okay, but he gives more. Okay, he's a great 1B defenseman. But the thing is, with the Sharks, you can take that risk because you're not cap crunched even after that contract.
But you don't need to. I'm not saying that you can't take that risk. It's a risk that they can take because they have the money. They can afford to. Sure. But you have your choice of whoever you want because you have the second overall pick. That's incredibly valuable. You don't think they would want to go for someone better?
Who? Give me a name.
Anyone.
Give me a name.
Okay, fine. If they were really, excited about this. No. I'm saying if they were really focused on this, if this was actually their focus, why would they not just trade for Lane Hudson?
Well, then why would Montreal trade away Lane Hudson?
Because you get the second overall pick and you could take Misa.
Okay, that's Lane. It's Lane Hudson.
Yeah,
he just won the Calder Trophy.
I think you'd have to
I'm aware of that, but if you're saying that this is the second, if you're saying this is the second overall pick, that's comparable.
I'm not making that trade if I'm Montreal. Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
You can make a package and include the second overall pick. If you say if you say right now,
why would they do that? Sorry to interrupt. But still,
I think we should get.
If you're saying right now. If you're saying right now you could take the second overall pick and an A-level prospect and trade that for Lane Hudson, both teams get what they want.
Yeah, you would have to. Oh my goodness! So, I would have to look at the Sharks pool, but I don't think you realize how much Lane Hudson's worth right now. He's probably already a top 10 defenseman. I mean, he'd be unavailable.
I wouldn't say that. Hey, that's his stealing.
This is like if the Islanders wanted to trade Barzal after the 85-point season. Like, I think it'd be crazy.
I mean, I'll put it this way.
I wouldn't.
For the
number one, maybe.
For crunching the numbers on defensemen who have put up 65-point seasons by their age 21 season, it's not a lot of people. So, and I'm sure his size probably worries some people, but like 66 points in 82 games at age 21.
Yeah, I don't think he's available at all.
Yeah,
No,
not
he's
at all.
not.
But my
You
my
have to give up with him the second overall pick to get a guy
No,
like
no.
Hudson. You got players.
Okay, from the Islanders' perspective, the trade makes
Maybe
sense.
Cole
You take
Hudson.
that and you say thank you and you leave.
Yeah,
From the
and
Sharks' perspective, they could get anybody. Why would they want Dobson?
But
Yeah, I
you're
think that's
okay after Hudson, who again, that's a pipe dream. Who else?
That wouldn't happen.
Who else?
I'll try to think of some. I mean, honestly, it would have to be a player that
I
probably
really
it's
don't know off the top of my head.
Well, that's the problem. You have a young 25-year-old RFA. You're the Sharks. You can afford to give a guy like that eight figures because you'll have a long window to maximize his prime. The Islanders don't. The Islanders don't have that. But if you're the Sharks,
I mean,
you take
yes and no. You could afford to make that gamble, but it doesn't really make it. It's not a gamble that makes a ton of sense, especially when you have to pay so many people in the next few years.
You know what, Brandon? At the time, I think a fair trade for the second overall pick would have been like a Mikko Rantanen at the time before he signed. I think that would be something that makes sense. A guy who wanted out. I don't know if you'd agree with that. He's a little older, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's really all I
sense.
can think of. I mean, you wouldn't trade Elaine Hudson because he's like 20 years old, but I could see like a Cole Hudson package. That would make sense to me. You know what I mean? If you really like his brother, who's going to be fantastic, I think, as well. Or maybe like, I know Demidov is such a high caliber prospect, but if you really love Michael Misa, maybe that would be the sort of player. I'm probably not Demidov, but maybe Cole Caulfield, maybe someone like that. But whatever.
Yeah.
I just
wait for the Sharks.
You could make a package around Caulfield and
like a Hagee,
yeah.
Or Hage, however you pronounce it, I don't know. But the point with Dobson that kind of blows Brandon's theory out is, from what I've heard and what I'm reading, he's only willing to sign with like 3 teams. So you're limited to 3 teams. And that's what's killing his value. It's not that he's not a great player. It's that he's forcing teams that don't want to pay him that money to make the trade with the Islanders. And in my opinion, this is so silly from him. He wants the money. Go where the team can trade you. Why are you killing the team? Why you're going to be the most hated Islander of all time? I don't think he realizes this.
He wants money. I think he wants to win too.
I think I'm going to forgive Tavares real quick if we end up with 2 B-tier prospects and a late first for Noah Dobson. I think I'm going to hate him.
Fair.
I mean, he's going to be in the he deserves to get booed, relentlessly. That's as far as I'll go.
You're Noah Dobson. You're quarterbacking a power play that sucks. You're playing on an offense that sucks.
Okay, but there's accountability.
And if you want, here's the other thing. We don't know the term he's looking for. He could be looking for, a couple years at that number, because if he ends up on a better team, which, as we discussed earlier, he's likely to end up on a more offensively talented team because everybody's more offensively talented than we are. He's gonna put up even better numbers than he has on the Islanders.
Maybe, but
the next deal even bigger.
My argument is it depends on the team, because he would not be the number 1 power play quarterback on half the teams in the league, in my opinion. Doesn't mean he's not phenomenal. If we went one by one, the teams are looking to trade him to have one. Some of them. Especially Montreal.
To me,
Lane Hudson is better than Noah Dobson, and I will put any money on that.
Noah Dobson, not a top 15 defenseman in the league.
I think he's close to that. I think he's 20 to 30. I would say that.
I might. He's potentially in the top 20, but I don't think he's anywhere close to the top 15.
He's probably 20 to 30.
The problem to me,
when he's on, of course, when he's on.
Noah Dobson is using his leverage, which he has every right to, but he thinks he has a lot more leverage than he actually has.
And that's why
that's the issue.
Deals. Yeah. But so
no wonder
he's doing to the Islanders essentially what Mitch Marner is doing to the Maple Leafs right now.
I mean,
Well, he has every right to do that
Right.
too.
No,
But
he
one's
does
an
have every
RFA,
right to do
one-
that. But I
one
think
is an-
Mitch Marner is a player that actually has that leverage, and Noah Dobson is not.
I mean, I just go back to this stat. He's got
well, it's the other way
209
around, right?
He's got 209.
Oh, no, you're
points.
right.
He's got 209 points in 308 games. That's good for 10th in the last 4 years. That's good for 10th most amongst defensemen, 5th most amongst right-handed D. So you're going to tell me that he's not supplanting power play quarterbacks for most of the league? A third?
Yeah, no, he's not.
2/3?
The team that he supposedly wants to sign with already has someone better than him. So it is a little difficult because you're not signing a guy for $10 million to put up 40 points, Eric, are you? Am I wrong?
Think, again, I think if you're another team, looking for value, you're
Maybe
looking
St.
at the
Louis.
Islanders and going, that team sucks. That team
Maybe.
has no offense, and he's still putting up these numbers.
Well, it's
So
yes
does he do on a
and
team
no.
that actually knows what they're doing on offense?
it depends. It depends if he's going to be the power play quarterback. If he's not, Eric, he's not putting up those
Yeah,
points.
obviously that depends. But my point is,
Well, it's the biggest part of it.
yes, but again, he's put up these numbers as power play quarterback of the least offensively talented team, arguably in the league.
Well, Brandon, wasn't it under Lane Lambert that they had like the 12th best power play?
No. It
No?
was actually Barry Trotz's last season.
Yeah.
Where
The one with Chara.
Yep.
No.
And Green.
Which that season was not included for Dobson in the four years.
Once again, counter argument to Eric is, what season do you think matters more when you're going to get paid? In my opinion, it's the most recent season. I would say that a lot of things change from year to year. And, he got hurt. I understand that. The team wasn't good. I understand that. There was no Matt Barzal. I understand that. But if you want to get paid like Rasmus Dahlin, I think you need to play like Rasmus Dahlin. That's my opinion.
I mean, he has more points than Rasmus Dahlin.
This last season?
In fewer games, career.
Well, to me, I'm looking at your last season the most. I mean, that's fair, right? Like, are you paying guys mostly off of 2-3 years?
The last season, again, where
but Dahlin's like 9,000 times better defensively.
The Islanders' offense couldn't tell its ass from its elbow. It's like,
I mean, Dahlin plays on the Sabres. It's not much different.
That's fair.
I think you have a point, Eric, but I think you have a point, but is Dobson not a main part of that? Is he not like the main issue at that point? When Barzal went down, Dobson was the offense, and he didn't.
With the puck.
Okay.
Dobson is not part of the problem.
Well, I'm mixed on that.
I think he is part of the problem.
Yeah, I do a little bit.
Then I guess that's where we disagree. I mean,
when Austin Matthews,
they don't have a single forward who can finish.
Fair enough.
Was Austin Matthews part of the problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs this year?
I think so, a little bit.
He made a significant step back, and he was their best, biggest offensive threat. The offense ran through him. When Matt Barzal goes down, Noah Dobson is your significant offensive threat. The offense runs through him. If he doesn't step up, that's on him.
And that's why I was comfortable paying him $9 million.
Hold on.
You can argue that this is the point where he's supposed to be putting up the most points, and he didn't.
Who was Islanders power play number one this season?
Listen, I'm not saying.
Well, not Barzal, obviously.
I'm not saying it's entirely his fault, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just don't understand where the over $10 million is coming from. I mean, like you said, it's got to be some historical thing from Noah Dobson because it wasn't last season. And in my opinion, when guys look to get paid, you're going to look at their last year, right? More than anything else. So that's why I'm so shocked. No?
All right.
Not in the case of a 23-year-old who put up.
Well, he's 25.
Points. You're not looking twice at that. If Lane Hudson puts up 40 points next year in 70 games, say he's got.
I do think that would hurt his payday. Yes, if he was getting paid next.
It absolutely would not because you're still looking.
What would Dobson be making if he put up? What? No,
absolutely
Eric.
would.
No. Hold on, John. Let me do this. If Eric, if he put up 70 points again, what would Dobson be making right now? Probably 11, without a doubt.
I think he'd probably be making more than that.
Okay, well then you agree with us. I mean, that's my point.
Yes, if he had put up more points, he'd have helped.
But in
himself
your
more.
opinion, he's only losing out on like 500K because he put up 39 points. I think that's crazy.
It's the old Moneyball maxim that you own the skills that you display. So if he's capable of a 70-point season at age 23, 24, then yeah, I think he's still going to get paid approximately around that. And people are going to look at that.
But this is the argument that I was trying to but this is the argument that I was making before, in that some players have leverage and some players do not. The argument that the GM, any GM, is going to make to Noah Dobbs is, you scored 40 points last year. We're not paying you $11 million to score 40 points. If you want a contract for 9-10 million, sure, we'll give you a short-term prove-it deal. And if you can do that, you can put up the amount of points you say you're going to put up in the future, then we'll revisit it. But he doesn't want that. He wants 11 million, and he wants term.
I don't think he wants 11, but it's
first of all, everybody's stuck on the 11 million.
I think it's 10.
Because that was his offer, and he said that he wasn't coming off it.
That's the ask.
10 something.
That's the ask. Saying I'm not coming off it probably means that the Islanders' offer was low. That they were probably offering.
But it doesn't.
That's
so
how
a negotiation is supposed to go is
you
go high, we go low, and you meet in the middle. Noah Dobson says 11. GM says what was it?
Only if you're
Noah Dobson says 11.
Eric, if it comes out that
only if you're close. No, Noah Dobson says 11. If Darth says 8, you go okay. Counter offer 10.
Yeah. No, oh God.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. But sometimes you say, "Hey, I'm going to settle this." I think the value of this case is $100,000, and the insurance company comes back and says, "I have $5,000 to offer you," and you say, "Great, we're done talking."
There's no way that happened.
There is not a possibility. No, Eric,
just listen for a second. The numbers only move if there's value in moving them.
Eric, there's no conceivable way. Sure, no, I agree. But there's no conceivable way Matthew Darsh looked at Noah Dobson and went, 5.
Eric, we're going to find out what they offered him. If they offered him...
There's no possible
if they offered him...
Do you really think that there would be... They would look at him and be like, you're worth $6 million?
No, there's no way in hell that happened.
I don't know, but that response, I'm not moving my ask, is the response of somebody who didn't like the offer.
No, it's the response of somebody who thinks they have more leverage than they do.
No. If they offered him 9.5 and he said, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
It's what I was saying before with Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner goes into the negotiating table and he goes, I want 13. And GMs look at him and go, hey, we'll give you 11. And he goes, no, I'm worth more. I want 13. I'm not getting off that price because he knows he's worth it. Dobson thinks he's worth it.
Anyway.
So Chychrun had 47 points and he wasn't even on power play 1 for them. And he got $9 million. So if I'm Dobson, I'd be like, okay, $9.5 million. I'm better than him. I don't know why that would be so difficult.
He's better. He's younger. He's bigger.
So here's the thing. I just think he doesn't want to play here, to be honest. And that's fair. That's fine.
No, I don't think it's that. No.
You don't think it's that? He deleted his social media.
No, I really
hates it here.
No, he deleted his social media because he doesn't want to deal with the fans who are complaining about him, which happened before. I don't think it's a Islanders situation. I think it's I don't want to deal with the fans in general situation.
Definitely sounds like he wants to be an Islander when he won't negotiate. That sounds like a guy who wants to be here.
No, he really
I'm just being honest. I think they offered him a lot of money. I really do. I would be shocked if they didn't offer him 9.5.
They probably offered him 9. I'm gonna say they offered him 9.
I think it's 9.5, but it doesn't matter. I don't know. We were on so many tangents there.
Yeah. What was the next topic?
I think I think you all broke the Josh Bailey tangent from a year and a half ago.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's frustrating. Listen, I'll end with this. It's frustrating with Noah Dobson because I was defending him and I would have been okay with $9 million. And I thought him and Schaefer could have been a nice 1-2 punch. But at the end of the day, if the guy's not willing to negotiate under 10, I'm okay with moving on. You are hamstringing yourself for 2026 when there's going to be so many good players available, and when Eric's going to say we're not going to get anybody, but there's going to be 15.
We're not.
There's going to be 15 really good players available, and if you're giving up then why are we
not
rooting
going to
for
get
Schaefer?
any of them, bro? Like
They have Schaefer coming in. I think there's going to be an exciting time.
There are 15
I really
now.
do.
I would be willing to bet that somewhere between 6 and 10 of them sign extensions before they hit free agency.
I don't think it'll be that many, but we already have Ehlers this offseason.
Yeah, I'd say probably 6 or 7, sure.
But there'll be 6 or 7 available, and that's what the Islanders will probably have the cap space if they don't.
Mike's like, we're getting McDavid. We're getting McDavid.
No, I've never said that.
Excited to re-sign Anders Lee.
the day that
that's our big acquisition.
What was it again? Was it a different dare that I gave Eric that if this happens, he has to do something? Oh, he has to bark the whole podcast.
But what was it for?
Come on.
I don't remember. No, that was incredible. Like he would have to talk like Scooby Doo the whole podcast. What was it, Eric? If it's the Islanders sign a really good free agent, I would like the Scooby Doo voice. I think that would be great.
Oh,
don't make him bark. Come on.
Sorokin under 35 games. Under 35 wins.
Oh.
Under 35 wins is actually not that unreasonable, I would say.
No, because I think I said the wrong number. I meant to say 30 and I said 35.
All right.
I don't know.
He's hit over 30 twice.
Barking for 30.
35 for barking. The Islanders need to be. That's like a first place finish, Eric. I hope you realize that.
All right. Well, we gotta move on to the Darsh thing.
Yeah, I don't even care about this because nothing has happened. Let me start with this. Every indication that I've gotten from everybody is that he has not stopped working. I love that. He is trying really, really hard to make this day special for all of us. And if that's true, God bless him, and I won't be upset if it doesn't go right because teams are just going to be – first of all, Dobson's being terrible, but the other teams are being terrible as well. So if it doesn't work out and it's not meant to be – maybe you just make a trade for Dobson that helps us in the future. You get Schaefer, and it's a happy ending. That's fine with me. So
I don't think you're allowed to judge a GM personally until at least the end of the first season.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell now.
Try and tell anybody on Twitter that, though.
Yeah, I agree. But to me, you get goodwill for any decision you make within reason until that year is over, and then you assess everything.
Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah.
What? That Dobson's gone? Yeah.
No. What do you think of Darsh?
About Darsh.
Oh, what do I think of Darsh? Oh, we're still on this.
Stand Darsh.
I mean, it's too early to judge the guy. I mean, I like the fact that they got Ryan Bonus. I like they're prioritizing Bridgeport quite a bit.
Rocky Thompson seems cool.
Rocky Thompson's good. Apparently, the assistant coach announcements are going to be within next week, apparently, according to speculation out there. He actually told the media today that announcements for that will be coming soon. So, highly doubt he announces it during the draft. So, next week for that.
That'll be the announcement.
It's too early to judge. I don't like the fact that he's keeping Patrick Wall as the coach, though. That pissed me off a bit. Now, how much does ownership really have is telling him to do that? Does he have full autonomy to do that? I mean, he did when he signed Palmieri to that extension, but I always feel like when a new GM comes in, he needs to have his own guy. I don't like and I apply this with any sport. It's not just a hockey thing.
Yeah.
I don't like when a new general manager of any sport comes in, unless the coach is a cup winning or championship winning caliber coach, and he's being told that he has to have this guy as a coach.
Oh, yeah, a total regime change the way Lou and Trump did it. It makes sense.
Put your own stamp down.
Are you ready?
Seriously.
Are you ready for this?
This is solid.
It's exactly one day. I think it's exactly one day too early to judge Matthew Darsh. I think tomorrow everybody is going to be very, very happy. I think he's probably busting his ass as a first-time GM.
Are you gonna say something else?
With a lot of possibilities.
I know where Mike was going with that.
With
I
a
hope
lot of
so.
possibilities in this draft. With a lot of possibilities in this draft. I think the leaks. I think everything we've been hearing is him doing every last ounce of his homework for tomorrow to know what it's going to take if for him to get Hagen later in the draft, wherever he falls. And here's my other thing.
I think you're right. I
agree on what. Just let me finish. I don't think you're announcing a development camp if you're not getting James Hagens. I think absolutely you're going to have more than one guy to show off. I also think Patrick Waugh as a buffer, it's a very easy decision to make to say, let Waugh play one more season with this roster that's mostly loose. Okay. And if it doesn't work out, great. You move on from him after a year. He's the fall guy, lose the fall guy. They share a little bit of the blame. And depending on how things go in the AHL, maybe you have an easy replacement who comes up with a lot of guys who maybe get to know him and who's good with profit. That's my thought. Is that maybe he's picked his coach already?
I was just gonna say, guys, I do think we're getting towards the end of this. I think we should finish with our predictions for tomorrow because I thought that was really good from Eric. He made the transition, I think, to the final point.
Mine's already on Twitter.
Oh, well, do you mind just telling us? So
hold on, I gotta go find it.
Okay,
it's I think we're gonna come away from the draft with Schaefer and Hagens. Dobson's gonna be gone for a good return.
I mean, so I already gave my prediction of what was going to happen. They're going to select Schaefer. I still think Dobson will get traded. Like, again, could be wrong. I'll accept it. Whatever. I'm not betting money on this, but I have Dobson getting traded to the Sharks, and the Islanders getting their second overall pick. But I also have Romanov getting moved as well for a pick in the 20s. Because you have to make room for Schaefer. You have to make room for Isaiah George. And Romanov is not very analytics-friendly player, and Darsh is very high in analytics. So Romanov will be another casualty in the process. But I think they'll still keep Pajot, and they'll take their chances either signing him for a hometown discount or raising his value and moving him at the 2026 deadline. But I do think Anders Lee will re-sign with the Islanders, much to Mike's dismay.
I mean, if it's for like $3 million,
the biggest free agent of 2026. Anders Lee.
It's not going to be.
If he wants more, if he wants a lot of money, I'm okay with moving on. But if he wants to be Jamie Benn,
no. We need somebody to mentor the young guys, especially Mason West.
Enough. I'm tired of these guys. It's like, gotta keep everybody until they're 40. You gotta mentor them from the wheelchair. Dude, fucking get rid of these guys. I'm tired of it.
Say it like he didn't have a good season last season.
Matt Martin immediately in the management role. Oh,
I found it, by the way.
No. That was an unquestionably good decision. Shut up.
Yeah, I love that.
They're gonna So Anders Lee's gonna be the new GM, and
No.
Varlamov's gonna be the goalie coach.
Hyperbole.
No. You got this wrong, Mike. He's the backup goalie, so he'll be the next GM.
Oh, okay. There you go. My
full circle moment.
Having Matt Martin be the assistant GM is an unquestionably good decision because it is a move that makes the fans happy, where he doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to have a say in anything. He doesn't have to make any decisions. All he has to do is smile and look happy.
No. You made me watch the last 3 years of that guy. He get him to 1,000 games. What are we doing?
Yeah,
we couldn't get him to 1,000 games.
But I guess you're not going to sign him for.
You made me watch him.
He didn't
made me watch him.
Yeah, with two new kids, right? So Might not have been his choice.
Listen, I'm joking. It obviously is a great move, but how could you not get him to 1,000? Like, what are we doing? Like, that was so
I found
stupid.
my prediction. My prediction, which I invited people to bookmark, is that by the end of next week, Darsh will have moved one of Romanoff and Dobson, drafted Schaefer and Hagens, and made at least one savvy UFA signing.
Like Duclair.
That is not a savvy UFA signing.
It was. He got hurt. Will you stop?
Duty.
He was a top 30 scorer per 60. Like, you're gonna say
that signing the second half, and y'all told me to calm down. Like,
he hurt his groin. Come on, we can't even be fair about it.
I don't like one-dimensional.
He shouldn't have been playing.
I don't like those guys.
He should not have been playing.
Like Pierre
Of
Engel,
course
one
not.
dimensional.
But I still didn't like the signing. Like,
Who hasn't made predictions?
Fair.
I haven't.
All right.
just because he shot 25% with Tampa, you thought he was going to replicate that on the island? Get the hell out of here.
Top 1 minutes, he might
To
have.
be devil's advocate, so devil's advocate, the Islanders are going to sign Schaefer. They're not trading Dobson on draft day. They're going to trade Romanoff and Pajot. They're going to get Hagens, and Dobson is going to be moved. I'd say like a few weeks into free agency.
The qualifying offers.
You can't drag that out. You can't drag that out.
They're gonna find a way. Because nobody's going to offer cheat. No one ever offered cheat to anyone.
The qualifying offers due Monday, though.
Yeah.
They're gonna
trade for him.
They're gonna give a qualifying offer.
Oh.
Wait, say it again.
They're gonna qualify him.
They're going.
So what's gonna happen is he's gonna walk.
But I don't even know how that works with a qualifying offer. If they trade to another team, no, it's gonna get done this weekend.
Yeah,
it's gonna get done.
You can't drag this out.
Yeah,
no, I love it. Drag it out. Drag it out. Drag his nuts.
It's gonna get dragged out. I'm telling you right now.
Drag him.
It's getting dragged out.
Qualifying offer somebody, then trade them. I don't.
I want them to drag him through the streets.
No, I want them to get value for him.
They're gonna get value. That's
the nice way to go about it.
It's gonna get dragged out. They don't have to. So he doesn't have to be signed to anything technically until the next season starts.
Yeah, you're right, but it'd be ugly if they go that direction because then he's just gonna walk.
Sure.
Oh, don't do that.
I mean, if they do that,
they're gonna trade him to somebody that's gonna sign him.
Nah, he's gonna demand a trade if that happens. It's not gonna happen.
They're gonna trade him to somebody that's gonna sign him. No. It's. I'm telling you right now, it's gonna take longer than you think.
Do I get my movie prediction now, John? So on Eric's award-winning Emmy-nominated film called Hagens, we're gonna have
Hagen's Homecoming.
Hagen's Homecoming. We're gonna have Owen Wilson playing James Hagens. Wow, I play for the Islanders.
That's really cool.
Starring Owen Wilson as James Hagens. And I'm trying to think. Maybe we'll get Leo in there or something as Patrick Waugh. I think that's pretty close, right?
You're going to have Lou Lamoriello as the villain
as himself, the ego on him.
Yes, he's the villain working behind the scenes trying to stop the Islanders from being able to trade.
In his acting debut.
Keep them boring forever.
He's himself, the ego on him. No, I play myself. That's funny.
And you're going to get Phil behind him as the maniacal henchman for Sleepy
Oh,
Lou.
yeah. Like his like smaller version of him, like the mini me or Yes Man.
So wait, what was your
he's going to be helping.
Oh yeah, no.
I
mean that was half my prediction. If your movie makes it to theaters, I mean I'm just saying. I mean I'd be excited to go see it. I'll just say, Eric, that was the craziest prediction I've ever heard. I think there's like a 0.001.
Hilarious.
Dude, I will say what makes Eric's theory have like almost like an iceberg to it or whatever is the fact that Hagens came out and was like, "Oh, I have a jacket you can't see."
That I actually love. To me, my galaxy brain theory about that is that he actually does know that he's being signed by the Islanders, and he's going to come out and have a jacket that has him as a kid with an Islanders jersey on it.
I mean,
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Schaefer and all this because he's kind of being overshadowed here.
I mean, it was gonna listen. It was gonna happen regardless, though. I mean, he is so mature. He understands the situation. He probably is the one that's gonna get James Hagens here at some point.
Prefer to be overshadowed here.
Yeah, no, he's well mature beyond his years. He's not gonna give a crap about this. But my prediction is the evil, awful, terrible prediction because I think it's the reality. Is they walk away with Schaefer and they end up trading Dobson for peanuts. I think that's really what's gonna actually happen. I think they're gonna get like a late first for Dobson and a tweener A to B prospect. Like maybe they'll get the guy from the Lightning with it.
Oh, Howard.
If you're getting that, I think you kind of hold on to him and wait for free agency.
Yeah, no.
Like they won't get Isaac Howard, but they'd get a prospect of that caliber.
You think Darsh, a first-time GM, is going to let his first move be a fucking wet fart of a?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think he has a lot of.
No.
My point is that I don't think he has a lot of control over this situation, and that's why I'm so upset with it because Dobson is so strict on the price point that I think he's killing deals. And if you guys think that's true, that really sucks. Because the Islanders might have had some really good deals. And if the team's like, we'll give you 10, and he goes, no. I want 10.5, 10, 10.6, 10.75, whatever. And that's what's killing the deals. Oh man, it would break my heart.
That's why I think these leaks are intentional. That's why I think these leaks are intentional to raise the price from other bidders.
I hope that'd be a good thing.
Yeah.
I don't hate leaks because all it does is drive up the price for Dobson. You could argue it hurts the price, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it just shows that there's more teams interested, and now that a team that wants him is to offer more.
There's pros and cons for having stuff leak out because
of course
depends on how you negotiate. You can lose leverage, you can gain leverage if there's a huge bidding war. Like with Brock, for example, nothing leaked out really of whether or not he was gone, but it wasn't until the finish line that boom gets moved for a first and Callum Ritchie. He kept it going to the wire and nothing came out. But in this case, since it's the off season, you have more bidders for a guy like Noah Dobson compared to the regular season. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the trade deadline, you can't let stuff like that leak out though. You can't. Because then you really lose leverage on your return.
Well, I hate that this whole. I'll end with this because
there's not many bidders. That's why.
I think I said my point, but I just want to say that there's a lot of people out there who are saying, "Oh, Lou's gone, now everything leaks." There was still the same rumors out even when Lou was here. I think the problem is everyone's on social media, and you can say no, but I found out about the Pajot stuff at the deadline right away. Supposedly it's a tight-lipped thing, right? But why am I hearing about it? Because people are not only manufacturing stuff, which happens all the time no matter who's the GM, but other GMs talk. Just because Lou doesn't talk doesn't mean other GMs don't.
I think there's a lot more yapping. I don't think there's a lot more substance.
Yes, fine.
I think there's a lot.
If there was a lot of, if you were yapping and talking about Lou shit, then you'd be cut off from access. But
that's silly. But yeah,
I don't know.
I think there's a lot more fake leaks coming out right now, to be honest, because I think that a lot of people are realizing that without Lou here, there's the expectation of leaks. And so a lot of people are kind of jumping on top of that and just saying whatever the fuck.
You also have to understand this is a unique situation. If Lou was in the same spot, there would be a million things on Hagens. There's nothing you could do about it. Everyone knows the story. It's not...
Also, piggybacking to Noah Dobson just a little bit, when you look at the Habs fans on social media, they're not happy with the idea of potentially paying him 8 figures either. They're
I wouldn't be either
at that idea.
Well, I mean, they're not a team that fits that situation. That's why I thought it's so weird that he wants to go there. I'm like, is that really your prime destination for you to play power play too? Why?
Does his wife?
To be honest, I think there might be one team in the league whose fans would be happy paying him $10 million in his Toronto.
Who?
The Maple Leafs, because they always overpay for players like that.
Yeah, but they can't afford him, so I mean, it's just not gonna happen.
I know they can't afford him, but what I'm saying is like, no team
They're
wants to pay
struggling.
Noah
They're
Dobson $11 million right now.
I feel like St.
They're
Louis makes a
struggling to
lot of
pay John
sense.
Judas right now. Are you kidding me?
Does St. Louis not make a lot of sense? Who even is their power play quarterback?
No,
Oh,
St.
Cam
Louis
Fowler.
makes sense.
Oh, Cam
St.
Fowler's
Louis
not as
makes
good as
sense. I
Dobson.
think they would
Huh?
pay him. I don't think they'd be happy
What I'm
paying
saying,
him
though,
that.
What I'm saying, St. Louis doesn't need a guy like they need a stay-at-home defenseman for Philly Broberg. That's who they need. They need, like, ironically, if he didn't have a no trade clause on his contract, Scott Mayfield would be the perfect guy for him. He'd be the perfect guy for Broberg.
I'm just saying,
Absolutely.
every team that I hear about that Noah Dobson can go to, there's always not a good fit, and that's why I don't think there's a deal in place yet. Unless Eric thinks this is a draft day move, but I mean, like,
I've said it from the beginning, and look, here we are, almost at draft day, because moving early does not benefit the Islanders. It does not. It absolutely does not, because of all the hubbub about Hagens, because of, I guarantee you, it's forced GMs to take closer looks at other prospects and consider taking other guys. And I think you're about to see James Hagens fall possibly into the double digits, at which point maybe you see Darsh move before he gets taken. But again, as I said with my James Hagen fan fiction, eat your heart out, Phil. I think the optics of that are like it could provide value in the owner's eyes, in the fans' eyes, in James Hagen's eyes, in that we swooped in and got you, okay? And we did this because we know you're going to choose us and we're choosing you, and it's happening, and you are going to get the attention. Like, there are going to be picks made while this is happening, and nobody's going to be paying attention to them because all they're going to want to talk about is how happy it is to be going to Long Island.
Eric, the theory makes sense. The post production I've never seen before, ever. But I mean,
it's not post production. That's the whole point. You're
no.
You're
what Eric's saying,
live reaction.
Yes. Oh, yes. The live reaction is the Islanders trade for the pick. That is the live reaction.
No.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
Not exciting.
Yes.
Eric, if this happens, I'll give you $100. There, it's on the line. No, because this is so silly.
Eric,
like,
give me one of the TVs.
You doubled it, John. You should double it.
Thing.
Put your money where your mouth is.
If this happens tomorrow, as you are describing a post-pick trade, if a post-pick trade happens tomorrow, I will pay for all the food.
Oh, okay.
Here's the deal. If I don't want money, if it does happen tomorrow, the next podcast, I'm the only one who speaks. The rest of you have to bark.
Why me?
Not Brandon.
Yeah, Brandon, let's hear it. I'll give you $100 because it would be like the first time it ever happens in history. That's never happened before.
No, it happened.
There has never been someone switching jerseys mid-shot. That has not happened.
Maybe they don't switch the jersey, but like in this case,
like even Eric Lindros, he just didn't put it on.
In this case, it's also kind of like it would be like a rub in the face because like it would be like, oh, they knew and they had the extra jersey. But
I think it's
the hat. You switch the hat. But like it happens.
Oh, I just want to see him put the jersey on. I don't.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Go ahead. What's the deal?
He already said it.
I mean,
He's trying to get out of the bed. That's why I didn't hear
it. That might be a little bit. I mean, the other thing is maybe it doesn't happen because it would be looked at as grandstanding. But
all right.
Well, it would be looked at as tampering, Eric.
I'm back. What's the actual deal?
It's not looked at as tampering. Get out of here.
They would say, why didn't you? No, never mind. Why am I engaging in the movie? What are we doing? I'm like, no, this isn't the script.
Trading for a guy after he's been selected is not tampering.
Oh my, that has never happened. Why would it happen now?
What? Okay. So what's the deal?
He told you. You know what the deal is. It's like angering me.
It happens all the time in the NBA.
No, I know, but I came out and came back in. What's your bet, Eric? What's your side?
No. There's no bet.
Barking.
This is just
barking.
This is my I understand it's fan fiction. It's My
Okay.
fantasy
If
prediction.
Eric said if it happens, we have to do a whole podcast where we bark and he talks.
That's fine.
No, Eric, I'll give you $100 if that happens because it would be like the best day of my life. So
I'm
We'll
being
go out
actually
someday.
like serious. I will pay for the food if it happens.
yeah, if it turns into a movie, I'm all good. I'm all
I
good.
think-
Give you $100, but I just don't think it's a movie.
I think for all the anxiety that has built up in Isles country over the last month, I think a lot of it is going to be dissipated over the next week because I think we're going to get a pretty good sense of the direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about this though? If Dobson doesn't get traded
Okay.
at the
Ooh.
deadline, I don't have to put in.
At the draft.
Yeah.
Okay. You said at the deadline.
Sorry. If
At the
Dobson doesn't get traded at the draft, I don't have to put in.
Okay. Deal.
Oh, John. John even knew it was silly.
Yeah, I
said
know.
deadline. He said
You're right,
deadline. He's
you're
like,
right.
that's not happening.
That's absolutely not happening. All right.
I mean, I like that bet, but I think he's getting traded. With how everything's been going, it sounds bad. So
I mean,
whatever,
I think he's
just saying.
probably getting
Yeah,
traded too, but I could definitely see a future where they couldn't find a deal there and they just wait.
Wait, so we all said go, right? That was our last thing on Dobson. I just want to
All right.
before we close
He's
it out.
gone. He's gone.
Okay. Yeah.
All right,
All right.
trivia question, real quick. Who was the first overall pick for the Islanders?
Billy Harris.
God.
Yeah, Eric! Woo!
Good job. All right.
Being the oldest, it's only right that I know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
You were alive
right,
for it, right?
Oh, fuck you.
Any last words before we sign off?
That was
Good to see you guys again.
Yes, sir.
Good talk.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank
Take
you
care,
very
John.
much.